Hello and welcome to Interviews My Hometown. My name is Seth, and today we have Cassie. Cassie, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. Very excited.
Cassie, could you give a brief description about yourself?
I am 19 years old. I'll be 20 in July, and I'm pretty basic other than the colored hair. That's kind of my only outline quality, but I work at Dutch Bros, and I graduated last year with you.
Yeah.
Yep, that's pretty much.
How long have you lived in the Greater Wenatchee area?
I was actually born and raised here. So I was born here in 2000 and lived here ever since.
Perfect. So what was the early life for you like, Cassie? I mean, like sports, extracurricular activities, that sort of thing.
Well, I actually had an older brother in my life. He's actually 12 years older than me.
Okay.
So most of my growing up was being babysitted by him, and we played a lot of Kingdom Hearts. If you ever played that game, so much fun. And that was a huge part of my childhood. And really playing video games, a lot of Mario Kart, a lot of Kingdom Hearts, and playing with my older brothers.
Okay.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Nice. Let me ask about. I said family when we were doing our brief rundown, but who are the people you live with? Who are the people you have to talk to every day?
So currently I live with my boyfriend Garrett, my dad Kevin, and my older brother Stefan.
Okay.
But my boyfriend and I live in our basement, and so we don't really communicate with them much upstairs. It's like a different world up there.
Yeah.
So we don't really talk to them often unless it's like a passing by kind of thing. So mostly I just live with my boyfriend and my cat Loki. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask about what you do on a daily basis. And I would say outside of quarantine, but you work at Dutch Bros, so.
Yes. So technically I am an essential worker, which is very loose in our terms. We don't really understand why we're essential right now, but we appreciate that we are.
Yeah.
But basically it's one of those things where my boyfriend and I wake up in the morning and we try to go do something outside of the house, whether that's going on a walk, going to the park, going and getting coffee, or going and getting food. And then we come back, usually go to work. Both of us work. He works at KFC. So we both do have lives outside of the quarantine. But pretty much it's going to work, coming home sleeping, going to work, coming home sleeping. It's kind of that type of thing. And we're trying our best to be socially distant, but it's definitely difficult. We're both very social people, so.
I understand that. I'm in the same boat. I still have to work full time at my job, so.
That is rough.
And I don't know why I'm an essential worker, but who knows?
Yeah, I don't really understand what the whole term really means. I feel like people are finding loopholes to be essential.
Yeah.
Or in some people's cases to not be essential. So,
Yeah. So, what are some of your favorite spots around town? Like hiking spots, restaurants, that sort of thing.
I love Pybus Market. I used to work there when I was a teenager. And so like Pybus will always have a special place in my heart. And the fact that you can go down to the river and you can see like baby raccoons. Oh my God, baby animals just get me. I'm like a typical girl in that sense. Like baby animals are always down there and it's so pretty, like all times of the year. In the middle of the winter when it's frozen and icy, it's pretty. And in the middle of summer, and I really miss apple blossom this year, really bad. Like that's always one of my favorite things to go to during the spring, and I'm missing it a lot this year. But I don't go hiking a ton just because I have problems when I hike. But like the places I love to go most in town, are like the parks. I love Walla Walla Park, and anywhere where I can be out close to the water. I love it.
Awesome. What would you say your favorite or your go-to order at your favorite restaurant in town is?
A BLTA from Red Robin.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Every single time. We get Red Robin a little too frequently. Do you know you can buy a pound of fries for $5?
Yeah.
$5 for a pound. Oh my God. My diet has been terrible, but I'm not going to apologize for it. Like, it's beautiful.
At a place in my family's opinion that has better fries is Sweetwood Barbecue, and they sell about this big of a container of fries for $2.50.
Oh, we're gonna be doing that. That's gonna have to be a move. Oh, that sounds so. Ooh, I'm gonna have to go get fries after this.
Yeah, I know. Now I'm hungry for fries.
Yeah, you're killing me, man. You're killing me.
So something I love to do with my show is I love to ask the guest about their music taste, because I personally feel you can tell a lot by a person through their music taste. So what do you listen to on a daily basis?
I listen to pretty much everything. One of the only types of music that I'm not a huge fan of is like screamo.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I know that sounds like really like basic, but like I will pretty much listen to everything. My mom grew me up on listening to country music, and my dad played rock and roll most of my childhood. And then I grew up being a teenage girl. I was very much into pop, and working at Dutch Bros has given me the like electronic type of like dance, stuff. And my boyfriend plays rap for us most of the time when we're out. So I listen to everything, and each type of mood I have tends to choose what type of music I play.
Yeah.
So if I'm kind of sad, I'll listen to country music and drive around in the rain and be all dramatic. And if I'm really happy, I'll listen to like my Dutch Bros playlist that plays all my like bumpin' music. And it all kind of depends on what mood I'm in to what type of music I love.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. That's the one thing that I've tried to ask people, is if they listen to country and screamo music, because those are the two extremes that people don't listen to. No,
people hate country music, and it's the funniest thing in the world. And you can like tell when somebody hates country music.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't. I can listen to everything, even the two extremes. Neither bugs me.
Man, I don't know how you do that. Like, I can listen to a lot, but when it gets to the point, or repeating the same sort of thing, like the same sort of sound over and over, I just kind of go like, get me out. like I need something different, please.
No, one of my favorite albums from 2019 was Slipknot's new album. So
so you're like that kind of guy.
Yeah, I am that kind of guy.
I love that.
So this is kind of getting into the personal questions. I don't like that word. Still haven't found a better one. Intimate questions. That's better. I like that. So what's something you're curious about right now?
I'm curious about. I'm curious about how the government is actually handling COVID. Yeah. Like, I know that obviously like we hear certain things and we expect certain things, but I'm very curious as to like how like actually somebody is looking at the problem and thinking like, this is how we're going to solve it, for an entire nation to have to pay attention to. Like, that's crazy. Yeah. And it's just like, it's one of those things where it's like, how could anybody ever find a cure for something like this intense? It just doesn't really seem right to me. And there's people coming out and saying that we're going to be chipped to like get the, like, I don't know. It's just like, people are just filling other people's heads with so much. And I'm very nervous about what is actually happening, or very curious, I guess, like you said. Yeah. I'm very curious as to what people are actually doing to solve a problem like this.
My favorite conspiracy theory that I've heard out of this was that when we get the coronavirus vaccine, it's going to have a chip in it, and then the 5G towers are going to be able to control us.
Oh my God. Okay, but like, I don't know if it could like control us, but I feel like it could definitely track us. Like, and I don't
know. I don't believe that, but
it's not a good vibe for me, because like I already have like, I have this on me at all times. Yeah. Like, really, I have like an electronic watch. Like, I really could be being tracked at all times, but like the thought of it actually being in me and not something I could take off if I ever wanted to is very disconcerting to me. Like,
I don't know.
Oh my God, do you think the virus was man created?
I'm not going to speak on that.
Oh my God! You can't just leave me hanging like that?
I'm not speaking on that. Sorry.
The FBI like comes and knocks on our doors.
Yeah, right?
Like, yikes.
My door just kicked down right now.
We just get taken. Like, podcast over. Like,
what do you wish, or no, what is something you would give? What advice would you give to someone that's just moving here?
Oh, that's hard. really watch where you choose to live. Because like a lot of my friends have felt like they've chosen really good houses, and then they've texted me like months down the line about like, this was the worst decision of my entire life. Like, why did I choose to live here? And it was like, well, if you would have looked a little more at your area, you probably could have guessed that those things would have happened. And my boyfriend and I are in the process of wanting to move out. And so it's one of those things where we're looking really closely at everything. We look at like, when do the lights turn off? And like during the morning, like what time do they turn on at night? Like what type of cars are in the parking lot? Where is it close to? Is it going to be near a busy road? Like we think of everything. And yeah, it's just, you have to look at that stuff so carefully because your life could literally depend on it.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, bro, like you gotta pay attention here because things could look so nice from the outside and just so not be good on the inside.
Yeah.
Gotta watch it. This valley is a snake.
Yeah, I'm in the process of looking at a house to rent in town because well, I'm gonna be here for a bit.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what we're all coming to terms with very slowly is like, oh God, might be stuck here like our parents. Oh no.
Yeah, it's a curse. I think I'm stuck here.
You think you'll stay here the rest of your life?
Both my parents were born here and they've lived here their entire life. So
they never once like
my dad left
like
for
Spain
3 years and he lived in Vancouver, Washington, but they moved back.
That's crazy to me. Like that's crazy because like my mom, she's never lived really anywhere else. She lived in Bellevue for a little while, but like then she moved back here. She wants to stay here the rest of her life. But my dad lived in New York for a couple of years. And he's one of those people who's like, I could move out of Wenatchee tomorrow. Like if I wanted, I could leave. So it's kind of weird. It's like, oh yeah, we both have never left and we're starting to be okay with not leaving.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a curse. Hayden and I have talked about this. It's a curse.
It really is. I truly believe that.
Do you have a favorite story from work?
A favorite story from work? That is so hard because you know me. That's like the most evilish thing to ask me in the entire world. I've done a lot of story times on a lot of interesting people, but one I never did a story time on. I posted pictures and videos of this guy, but I was at Pybus Market one day, one of my favorite places in the valley still to this day. Like this did not tarnish it in any way. But this guy came in wearing a wedding dress and moccasins. And you could just tell he was not like quite, you know.
Yeah. And
that's okay. Like we saw people like that all the time. We were right by the loop trail. So people were coming in, you know, all the time. And this guy was just, we had seen him a ton, but never like this, never quite like this maxed out.
Yeah.
And he literally had the dress like off of him. You could tell it was meant for a very busty woman. Like it was very like big, you know. But he walked around and then he started screaming at people. Like I swear it was insane. And like the security guards had to be like, sir, you need to leave. And like he was like picking up his wedding dress and like it was intense. It was a very, very like and we're trying to serve coffee down there. And like you just hear this man screaming like, you can't be mean to me because like you're, what did he call it? He didn't call it like racist or sexist, but he called it like homophobic, but he was just wearing a wedding dress. It was very weird. It was a very, very weird experience. I can't explain what happened to that man, but I see him all the time. Like I've had totally normal interactions with this person, but like that he does that. And I'm just like, okay.
He's probably on something. Yeah.
I'm sure. I'm sure he, or
something else. Yeah.
Yeah. We won't do that. Like censored. Like.
What is something that most people underestimate about you?
Just how loud I can be. I don't know. I tend to feel like people think I'm very scared because I'm anxious. You can see like I'm moving a lot, like I'm anxious. But and I've known you for what, like 10 years? Like I have no reason to be anxious with you, but I am. But like I think people tend to take that for like a type of weakness when it's like I could just tell you to like and, you know, sock you in the face. But I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm going to be nicer than that, like, probably. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of people tend to think that I'm really sweet and I don't have, like, anything to really say for myself until I do. And then it's intense and it gets all blown up. But
Yeah.
whatever. It's fine. It's fine.
What would you say the best compliment you've ever been given is?
That I'm a good storyteller. I love getting that compliment because I literally tell stories for fun. It's like it's my passion.
Yeah.
If I could do anything with my life, it would be to tell people stories and to make people smile and laugh, and like just being able to tell stories, and for somebody to sit there and be like, you tell a story where I feel like I'm there, you know, that feels so good. Like I can make somebody feel like they were in the room with me when they don't know half the people that were there. I really like being able to make people feel something. And huge compliment on my part.
My mom loved sitting down next to me and listening to your stories when I was still on Snapchat. So
that is so sweet. You have no idea, like, the amount of people who tell me, like, oh yeah, my boyfriend and I sat here and watched your story, or like, my mom thought it was so funny, or like, my grandma asked why you were cussing so much and why you were so mad. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, but that makes me so happy. That's so sweet. I'm dramatic. I'm very dramatic. So like, could you have guessed? Like, could you tell? But yeah, I love telling stories. So that's like the most thoughtful thing anybody could say to me.
Yeah. What is a passion of yours that you rarely share with people?
I don't know. I'm a very open book when it comes to things that I'm really passionate about. If I'm passionate about, you know, singing a rap song, like I'll blast that and just like go off. Or if I'm interested about how much I love astrology, like I'll go off about that. And I'm a very open book. So there isn't much that people are like, oh, wow, you really like this, don't you? And I'm like, yeah, but I've showed you that a million times. I'm very, very open. I don't have a lot of secrets that like, I'm like, ooh, let me tell you, like I can make cool bird sounds. Like I wish that I had something like secret like that. Like it was really cool. Like, but I don't really have anything like that. I'm very open, and the things that I'm passionate about and good at, people like kind of make their own decision about what they like about me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You know, I've told that question on 6 different interviews now, and every single person has said the exact same thing. So maybe I need to retire that question.
But you know what? The thing is, though, that shows that is that like your friends are all very similar type of people, even though some of us had never met.
Yeah.
You know, like I haven't met your last guest, but I met Connor. So like it's weird. We all could probably get along in a group of people, but we're all completely different ages and genders and everything. So it doesn't even matter. But yeah, you probably just choose open booked friends.
Probably.
I think that's the way you are.
So I coined a term. A person who lives in Washington is a Washingtonian, right?
Yes.
So a person who lives in Wenatchee, to me, is a Wenatcheeite. That's the coin term that I made for this show.
Perfect.
So what does being a Wenatcheeite mean to you?
I feel like it's going to Battle of the Bridges, no matter how cool or stupid you think you are. Like, the cool people are there, the druggies are there, like, the people who are like, I don't want to go to football games are there, like, grandmothers are there. Like, if you go to Battle of the Bridges, that's what makes you a Wenatcheeite. Like, Battle of the Bridges was always the thing. People who grew up here, like, that are 67 years old are like, oh, yes, I remember the Battle of the Bridges. Like, I remember when people brought switchblades. That's a huge part of living here. Like, and definitely Apple Blossom, too, which is why I think it's so hard this year. Like, the queens and princesses are missing out on so much, and kids are missing out on so much. My best friend just had a baby, and she can't take him to go and do those things because they're not here. And it's very sad. I feel like people are missing out on a lot of things right now. And so Wenatchee isn't quite what it is, but we're making it better by doing little things like the cruises on the Avs.
Yeah.
on Saturday nights, and those little things are making us all feel still like Wenatcheeites, but not so social distanced.
Yeah, not so quarantined. Yeah.
Quarantined, yes. I hate
Um.
the word. I'm so tired of hearing it.
Oh yeah, it's so horrible. Yeah, I felt bad this year for Battle of the Bridges because
Right.
I was dating someone this year.
Hmm.
Big surprise. And she went to Wenatchee, so I had to sit on the Wenatchee side, and I felt really bad.
No.
I know.
Okay,
I
I was dating somebody our senior year of high school who played on the Wenatchee Panthers football team, and I had his number written on my face, and I was in the Eastmont section, and everybody was like, "Oh, is it the player from Eastmont?" And I was like, "No, it's the other 50." I can't even remember his number anymore. Like,
yeah.
whatever, 58 on the field. Like, it's that, and everybody was like, "Oh, you should be here." I was. Senior year was a very dramatic year. We love high school.
It was very dramatic. I remember.
I'm so glad I'm out of it.
Same here.
Seniors this year must be so struggling.
I feel so bad. Today I interviewed another guy. His name's Christian. He's he was a senior, and he was in Mr. Panther this year, and that was all online. And I was like, dude, I feel so bad for you.
Yeah, you can't express yourself the same way.
Yeah.
In person that you do on the computer. It's just, it doesn't work. You can never make somebody know who you are over a camera like this.
Absolutely.
You know, there's just no way. I don't know. It's very sad. And then the fact that they have to like have their virtual graduation. Like, I just got my cousins in the mail today, and it says like, "Oh, your virtual graduation will be held at this time." And you know, it's like, what if it crashes?
Yeah. What's gonna happen?
Yeah, like I don't know. It's just
there's gonna be 4,000 people that are on one Zoom call. What's gonna happen? Yeah,
it's not gonna work. Like, it's so sad. I don't know.
So right now is a section of the podcast where I let the guest become the interviewer. You get to ask me any question you want.
Only one?
No, as many as you want.
Oh my god, I can ask as many questions as I want. Okay,
yeah.
Okay. What is the one memory of middle school that sticks out to you the most in your mind? Middle school. I mean, like 5th through 7th here. The worst time of anybody's life. I know.
Hated middle school.
Dude, middle school is the worst. I believe it.
Boy, I think one thing that really sticks out was Mission to Mars.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I did it in 7th grade, and so I was so happy I did it. Yeah.
That was a really, really cool experience. Who was in your group, or do you remember?
The only person I remember being in my group was because I got paired with him was Nathan Forster.
Oh my god, Nathan!
So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I think Hayden Collette was there as well.
I think Hayden was too. Yeah. Hayden was always in those like random weird little things, like math is cool and like Okay. Yeah, and I was there, and I know Bo Baradas was.
I think Yeah,
I honestly that was so long ago. Yeah, I do remember that with Mr. Pause.
Yeah.
And oh man, that was a great memory. I loved.
Oh yeah.
Such a good year. Okay. Do you disapprove or do you approve of the Twilight movies?
I'm neutral. You're
neutral.
I haven't seen them, so I can't make a choice on it.
You've never seen the Twilight movies?
No, I haven't read any of the books either.
No, like you have to. Like, because you're a Washingtonian, like you have to, because it was like in Forks or whatever. Like, it's like you have to. Like they reference things in Washington State. Like you have. I'm so disappointed. Okay. How many licks do you think it would take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
347.
That's oddly specific.
Yeah, they did a study on it, and
you're a straight up liar.
I'm not.
You're lying to me. There's no way that they actually did that.
I'll send you the link after the podcast.
No, please. That's actually that makes me so upset. That's real. And I didn't know that. I'm going to be really angry. Okay. Final question. This is I
feel like there should be dramatic music playing right now.
Bum, bum, bum. Okay. What was your favorite Christmas present that you've ever received from anyone? Like 0 to now.
When I was 8, I got a Nintendo DS with a copy of Pokemon Heart Gold from my dad. And yeah.
And the rest is legend.
The rest is history. I still love Pokemon to this day, so.
Beautiful. I actually just thought of another question. What are the 2 guitars behind you?
Oh, they actually have names. So this is Papa G. My grandpa made me this one. And then this is Juliet, excuse me. And
Ooh.
I got that was my first guitar I bought, or my grandma bought me.
I love that. Are those the only 2 guitars you own?
No, there's one like right underneath Papa G.
Uh-huh.
It's an acoustic guitar. Hayden found that on the side of the road, but he doesn't know how to play guitar, so he gave it to me. And there's a ukulele like right here.
You have so much music stuff.
Yeah, I also have a cajon right next to the ukulele, and there's a keyboard in this closet.
You have like a little studio. It's amazing. It's beautiful. That's so cool.
I love it. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. All right. So, Cassie, this is the way I love to end my show, and you're dreading it.
I told you I'm not ready for this.
Could you tell me a joke?
Oh, knock knock.
Who's there?
Banana.
Banana who?
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Banana.
Banana who?
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Orange.
Orange who?
Aren't you glad I didn't say banana? I'm clocked out. I'm clocked out at that. That's the only joke I'll ever be able to tell. Like, that's it for me.
Well, thank you for listening to Interviews from My Hometown. My name is Seth, and Cassie, thank you for coming on the show. It really
so much
was
fun.
A pleasure.
So much fun. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Interviews from My Hometown is sound mixed by Seth Gamble, hosted by Seth Gamble, funded by Seth Gamble, and is produced by Hometown Productions. Music is by Pink on YouTube.